A little bit terrible today, but what can we say? Hello, everyone. Welcome to Drawing Down the Stars, and thank you for joining me for our live tarot session today on August 13th, 2024. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day, and thank you guys for coming out. So let's start by giving a shout out here to our chat. Great to see you, Graham. Much love. Good to see you, Mukio. Great to see you, Gandhi. Good evening, Dorian. Good evening, Nikosmas. Great to see you, Christy. Much love, D-Love. Good to see you, Taz. Good evening, Kari. Great to see you, Iskander. Oh, Casker. Good to see you, Casker. I hope life is treating you well out there. Amazing. Glad you could all join us. All right, so let's start by talking a bit about our astrology. So today, our astrology is a bit different. We have a change in our moon. So we had the moon in that Scorpio energy, and it is now shifted into Sagittarius, this energy of that divine archer. And in this energy of Sagittarius, what we're now experiencing is this desire to wander, to move, to come into connection with others. We're going to feel an incredible restlessness in our emotions right now. We're going to feel the lack. We're going to feel separation. And we're going to desire for those intimate moments of connection and fulfillment. You know, Sagittarius is that hunter, that pursuer, the one that seeks out love and will and pray and what they desire and what they need. It's that transformative energy of moving and motion. And connected to this moon, it's going to be about connecting to our emotions and really wanting to aspire to have them fulfilled, to meet those lovers, to meet our relationships, to come in connection. Right? And we combine this with that beautiful energy of the sun in Leo. We have this incredible moment to be our true unique self, this fiery, passionate energy to move and to pursue things like love or transformation, you know? And it's also this moment we're going to really feel this emotional energy and this lack. If you were in distance from your partner, you are going to feel it today, you know? If you were a distance from your family or your loved ones, you're going to feel it today. So just be aware of this energy and recognize this need to move, this need to be in flow and to pursue love, right? When I was reading this morning and doing my reading and trying to come up with the title and think about how I wanted to approach today's reading, I kept thinking about the goddess, the Kori, Persephone, Proserpine, right? The Holy Virgin, the one who's abducted and drawn down into the earth and is made to transform, right? And when I was thinking about her, it was wild. I drew the death card, you know, and the death card is all about this embracing of the transformation, going through that process, you know, and there's a recognition here, you know, so much has been made about the story of Persephone. Was it a willing marriage? Was it a rape, right? What is actually going on here? But I think what's fundamental is that there's a transformation and there's a change that happens. What is clear is that Persephone becomes enthroned and she becomes the queen of the underworld, and she usurps even her husband in power, right? When you look at the Greek magic and when they're addressing and they're trying to talk to the Lord of the underworld, they're not talking to Hades. You know, Hades is a very marginal figure. He doesn't really factor in. It's more about Persephone. She is the queen, right? She has this ability to transcend too, to move from the heavens to the earth, right? It's a beautiful, beautiful energy, and it's worth thinking about, and it's worth understanding, and also recognizing that when Persephone embraces Hades and engages in this transformation, not only does she become the queen of the underworld, but then she gives birth to joy, to Plutus, the child to come, to wealth and abundance. You know, there's so much in these stories, you know. It's also important to recognize that she doesn't stay bound there. She also is able to return to the stars, right? And she experiences both of these, you know? And I think so much of this we see paralleled within the story of Shiva and Parvati and their wedding, you know? And their wedding is very much a wedding of love, you know? It's that Parvati's family disagrees, you know? And we see that in the earlier versions of the story with Sati, who is denied being able to marry Shiva. And then when Shiva is denied to enter the sacrifice, Sati immolates herself. And the only reason they allow the wedding of Persephone and Shiva to take place is because they recognize what will happen if they prevent it. You know? And they want to reject that other, that earth force, that Shiva, right? He's long-haired, right? He's basically naked, covered in ashes. His friends are the spirits in the lowly, the people of the underworld, right? But they come together anyway, and you have this transformation. The princess of the mountain marries the lord of the underworld. And it's a beautiful connection, right? And I wanted to read to you guys a really beautiful poem about this image and about this embracing of the transformation, even if it's painful, even if it's difficult, right? Recognizing that through this process, she becomes queen and gives birth to joy, right? So this is called The Garden of Proserpine by Algernon Charles Swinburne. Here where the world is quiet, here where all trouble seems, dead winds and spent waves riot. In doubtful dreams of dreams, I watch the green field growing, for reaping folk and sowing, for harvest time and mowing, a sleepy world of streams. I am tired of tears and laughter, and men that laugh and weep, of what may come hereafter, for men that sow to reap. I am weary of the days and hours, blown buds of barren flowers, desires and dreams and powers, and everything but sleep. Here life has death for neighbor, and far from eye or ear, wan waves and wet winds labor. Weak ships and spirits steer. They drive adrift and wither. They wot not whom make thither. But no such winds blow hither, and no such things grow here. No growth of moor or coppice, no heather flower or vine, but bloomless buds of poppies, green grapes of Proserpine. Pale beds of blowing rushes, where no leaf blooms or blushes, save this wear-out she crushes, for dead men deadly wine. Pale, without a name or number, in fruitless fields of corn, they bow themselves in slumber all night till light is born. And like a soul belated, in hell and heaven unmated, by cloud and mist debated, comes out of darkness morn. Though one were strong as seven, he too with death shall dwell, nor wake with wings in heaven, nor weep for pains in hell. Though one were fair as roses, his beauty clouds encloses, and well though love reposes, in the end it is not well. Pale beyond porch and portal, crowned with calm leaves she stands, who gathers all things mortal with cold, immortal hands. Her languid lips are sweeter than love's whose fears to greet her, to men that mix and meet her from many times and lands. She waits for each and other, she waits for all men born, forgets the earth, her mother, the life of fruits and corn. And spring and seed and swallow take wing for her and follow, where summer songs ring hollow and flowers are put to scorn. There go the loves that wither, the old loves with wearier wings, and all dead years draw thither, and all disastrous things, dead dreams of days forsaken, blind buds that snows have shaken, wild leaves that winds have taken, red strays of ruined springs. We are not sure of sorrow, and joy was never sure. Today will die tomorrow, time stoops to no man's lure. And love grown faint and fretful, with lips but half regretful, sighs, and with eyes forgetful, weeps that no loves endure. From too much love of living, from hope and fear set free, we thank with brief thanksgiving, whatever gods may be, that no life lives forever, that dead men rise up never, that even the weariest river winds somewhere safe to see. Then star nor sun shall waken, nor any change of light, nor sound of water shaken, nor any sound or sight, nor wintry leaves, nor vernal, nor days, nor things diurnal, only the sleep eternal in an eternal night. Just beautiful. Wow. Just beautiful. And the key I want to reiterate here is this line here. From too much love of living, from hope and fear set free, we thank with brief thanksgiving, whatever gods may be, that no life lives forever, that dead men rise up never, that even the weariest river winds somewhere safe to see. Continue in the flow, in the generation. Fear not death, because death leads to the same place, to that primordial darkness, that womb, that great mother, those still, calm, and ever-flowing waters. Embrace the transformation, flow with the cycles, and learn not to hold on to the past, but imagine yourself into the future. All right. Let us begin today's reading with our Ganapati Oracle. So we are going to invoke the spirit of Lord Ganesha, Ganapati, that divine child, the God of beginnings, the Lord of the Ganas, guardian of the threshold. Inspire us. What is the message? How do we best move and flow? What guidance can you bring us today, Lord Ganesha? Does this not ring true with what I've been saying? Promise of the future. Imagine yourself into the future. Embrace the transformation. Accept the endings and grow into new beginnings. See that the future is a promise. The future is always unfolding. Death is not the end, but merely an ending of a cycle and an ever unflowing future, an ever expanding universe of which you are a part. Beautiful. All right, we're now going to start with our sortes. So for those of you who are unaware, the sortes is a form of bibliomancy, that is divination through literature. And it comes to us from the Greco-Roman tradition. And we invoke those spirits of the muses, the goddesses of inspiration. And we ask them to send us a message, to guide our hand, and we read a line out of context, and we interpret it through our intuition and our reason. So muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Aleister Crowley in his book 4? Inspire us this evening. Next, adore the brain as before, but figure to thyself its content as infinite. Deem it to be the womb of Isis or the body of Nuit. Isn't this so beautiful? And it connects to everything I've been saying. Next, adore the brain as before, but figure it to thyself its contents as infinite. Deem it to be the womb of Isis or the body of Nuit. That which is above is the same as that which is below. Within thy mind is a universe, is an ever-expanding flow, is a mirror image of that universe above. And through connecting to the self, you can understand and embrace that flow, can recognize the universe and understand it for what it is. Adore the brain as Isis, as Nuit, as that great mother herself. Beautiful. Let us continue. All right. We're going to go now to Q by Luther Blissett. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Q? Inspire us. Immediately, I have to clear my head. There's still a lot that must be done as we are opening in the future. Oh my gosh. Oh wow. Isn't this exactly what I've been saying? I immediately have to clear my head. There's still a lot to be done. We're opening in the future. You're opening in the future, right? Imagine yourself succeeding, right, into the future, being that person you wish to be. And you have to do the work today to manifest who that person will be. And you have to overcome your mental limitations and the thoughts that hold you back. You are opening tomorrow. Are you prepared? Imagine yourself into the future. Beautiful. All right. Let us go now to my dear friend Graham's collection, The Shape of My Will. Muses, what is the message from Graham? Inspire us this evening. Scars deepen the pit in my gaze. A veil is laid across horizons where each star is another grave. Scars deepen the pit in my gaze. A veil is laid across horizons where each star is another grave. A veil is across the horizon, right? The scars deepen the pit in my gaze. What are scars but that act of fighting, of resistance, of battle, of weariness, right? Of trying to transform and fight against the flow, right? The scars deepen the pit and they obscure the gaze. A veil is laid across, right? Where each star is another grave. If it is a grave, it is also a womb, a tomb and a womb, two sides to every coin. And what I'm seeing here is that the scars of life, the traumas of existence have subverted the gaze, have laid a veil across our horizon, and they force us to see the stars as a grave. You know, but there is another side to that coin. Can you remove that veil? Can you overcome those wounds and those scars? Can you allow them to heal? Do you have the medicine to transform those scars? Right? Always recognize that there's multiple perspectives to be seen of everything. You know? And that the star may be a grave, may be a womb, it may be a goddess, maybe a planet, it may be a ball of burning glass. You know, it's all these things and more, right? Meaning is what you get from it, what you extract from something, from your experience. Let us continue. We're now going to go to Shiva and the Primordial Tradition by Elaine Danilou. All right, muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Danilou? Inspire us this evening. The star hexagon, which represents union, creative power, pleasure, perfection, universality, space, the orbits, creation, and movement. Wow. The star hexagon, which represents union, creative power, pleasure, perfection, universality, space, the orbital tendency, creation, and movement. When you remove those scars and you look at the star, all of a sudden, it has a very different color. You notice that in this definition, there is no tomb. There is no grave. Instead, we find unity, creative power, perfection, pleasure, space, orbital tendency, creation, and movement. Right? Beautiful. And it's that hexagon, right? These shapes are really important for understanding the Pythagorean system. Okay, the star is the hexagon. It represents that universality, that ever expanding universe, right? Then the earth is the square, right? The earth is the square, the feminine is the circle. They come together, the 5 and the 4, and you create the 7. That unfolding of the rainbow really makes me think. I was talking with some friends on Discord, and a person was relaying me a story, but she met deity as this dancing goddess of the rainbow in that flow. Beautiful stuff to me. All right, let's continue. Goethe, Faust. All right, muses. What is the message from Goethe and Faust? Help, devil, to cut short the agony. Whatever is to come, let quickly come. Now may her fate come crashing down on me and drag her with me to the self-same doom. Help, devil, to cut short the agony. Whatever is to come, let quickly come. Now may her fate come crashing down on me and drag her with me to the self-same doom. Except it's not a doom now, is it? And she wanted to go the whole way. Wow. You know, and I recognize this part of the play. What happens later is Mephistopheles just calls him a fool and tells him to love the poor girl. There is no self-made doom. It's all in your head. Help, devil, to cut short the agony. Whatever is to come, let come quickly. Now may her fate come crashing down on me and drag her with me to the self-same doom or the self-same love. Move and flow with her. Connect to her, whatever may come. Interesting. Let us continue. Narcissus and Goldmund by Hermann Hesse. Muses, what is the inspiration from Hesse? Inspire us this evening. Like a ghost, Narcissus had reappeared at the strangest moment of his life, probably to save his life, and now he was about to break into sobs in front of him again or faint. No, no, no. He controlled himself. He subdued his heart, forced his stomach to be calm, willed the dizziness out of his head. He could not show any weakness now. Wow. He could never do that again. Like a ghost, Narcissus had reappeared at the strangest moment of his life, probably to save his life. And now he was about to break into sobs in front of him again, or faint? No, no, no. He controlled himself. He subdued his heart, forced his stomach to be calm, willed the dizziness out of his head. He could not show any weakness. This is a really beautiful line. Because what happens when we face that deity? That deity that is overwhelming and beyond comprehension, right? That comes to save us, that wants us to exit out of this world, to come live with them in love, right? To embrace eternity. That's really what the goddess wants, right? Think of that story again of Persephone and Demeter. The goddess cries for us. We have wedded ourselves to the earth. We fell in love with Hades, with Dionysus. We abandoned heaven to pursue that, you know? And she calls us back in our dreams. And in those moments, in the cycles, when we have those moments where we can shine and walk that middle path, ascend the golden cord and return to the one. Experience the Elysian fields and see the world to come, right? We do that by learning to face her and to embrace her. It's that combination. You have to approach her without fear, and to embrace her in that loving exchange. Right? It's beautiful. And there's much to be said too about this image of Narcissus. You know, in the modern Western tradition, he's become associated with narcissism. That's not really what's happening in that story. Narcissus ascends to the stars, right? And he does it through love of the self and through experiencing his reflection in the matter, in the material. Let us continue. Boccaccio, Decameron. All right, muses, guide my hand. What is the message for Boccaccio? Inspire us this evening. Whoso being wicked is righteous reputed, may sin as he will, and 'twill never be imputed. Whoso being wicked is righteous reputed, may sin as he will, and 'twill never be imputed. Wow. That is some Christian nonsense in some ways, right? If you seek forgiveness, then it doesn't matter what you do. What? No. That's a proverb that must be ignored, that must be confronted, must be picked apart and reasoned with, you know? Forgiveness and asking for forgiveness is not enough. It's not enough, right? Tit for tat is the way of the universe. Every action has a reaction, has a response. And we're all going to have to pay for our actions in one way or another. They reverberate across the universe. To simply say, oh, I'm sorry, that doesn't change that reverberation, that vibration. You know, forgiveness is important, don't get me wrong. There must be a forgiveness. There must be an acknowledgement and an understanding. But if there isn't a change of action or a repudiation of the behavior, of a manifestation of some transformation, then what has happened? Forgiveness means nothing without transformation, right? Truth and reconciliation, exactly. Let us continue. Book of Thoth, Aleister Crowley. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Crowley? Inspire us this evening. One of the most important aphorisms of Hindu philosophy is thus: the gunas revolve. This means that according to the doctrines of continual change, nothing can remain in any phase where one of these gunas is predominant. However dense and dull that thing may be, a time will come when it begins to stir. The end and reward of the effort is a state of lucid quietude, which, however, tends ultimately to sink into the original inertia. Wow. You know, those of you who are unfamiliar with the Indian tradition, the gunas are kind of like the composite reality, the material reality. It's very similar to me to the alchemical tradition. So in the Hindu tradition, you'll have tamas, rajas, and sattvas, right? Sattvas is like calm, intelligence. Rajas is energy or excitement. And tamas is like darkness, okay? The equivalent in the European philosophical tradition and the alchemical tradition would be salt, mercury, and I think it's sulfur. Yeah. So yeah, the idea here is that the nature of reality is all about the intermixing and coming together of these three forms and the exchange that happens between these three forms and the production that they create, and recognizing this movement and interconnection between them, is what's important. Understanding that it is through the coming together of all these forms and that you can't reject any of them. You know, they have to move in flow and in movement. You can't just reject the darkness. The darkness has to be incorporated, you know? All of these things have to move and flow, right? If you look at that card of the lovers, the alchemical wedding, they are remixing the composite parts of reality. They're combining the sulfur, the salt, and the mercury to recreate themselves. You know, it's beautiful. Let us continue. All right, we're going to do one more today. Let's see, what do I want to do? Yeah, we'll go to Federico Garcia Lorca. All right, muses, what is the message from Lorca? Inspire us this evening. Wherever a literary name is used, an ironic allusion that goes beyond the term's aptness is implied, as in the subtle subtitle of Donna Rosita the Spinster, which is the language of the flowers. Wow. This is, I think, an important message, is to pay attention to the names, to pay attention to titles, and to recognize the power of them when you invoke a deity, right? Every deity, every spirit, every being has a name and has a function that is designated through that name. You know, in the ancient Greek world, it wasn't enough to simply call Apollo. You had to call Apollo Phoebus. You had to call Apollo Phosphorus Daimon. You know, you had to call him by the appropriate name, right? Medea was not just Medea, she was Soteria, the savior, you know? And by knowing one's name, you can engage that function, right? And what they're telling you here is that that name, Donna Rosita, think about it. What does that mean? The language of the flowers, the talk of the rose. The secret is in the names. They tell you the character that you're engaging with. They tell you how to engage and what they can do. It's really interesting. All right. Enough for our sortes this evening. I think it's time we begin our tarot proper. So before I do, please give me a like and a subscribe. It really does make a big difference. It boosts everything in the algorithm, and it's a big help. It's a little blessing, and it's good karma. And as always, we are now going to use our Thoth Tarot by Leda Frida Harris and Aleister Crowley, and we are going to invoke that deity, Saturn Kronos, and we are going to ask him to dissect our life, to cut it up and put it on the plate, to examine our present and to engage with our conflicts, to ask, how do we best move and flow? How do we rise above? And how do we manifest our true will? All right. And as always, the center card is the most important. And today's center is foundation, power, family, 4 of discs, beautiful energy, the beginning, the temple of the muses, right? Going back to your roots, to your core, right? Those things that matter most, the 4 pillars, your power foundation, where everything comes from. Beautiful. For some of us, this is about returning to those roots, engaging with our loved ones, with their family. For others, it will be about manifesting this, about moving towards family, about bringing it in for ourselves and connecting with the other. Let's see where this is going. Wow, beautiful energy. We're showing up here is that mature energy of the Knight of Discs. The Knight of Discs is the one who moves out in the world determined to build the tower, to manifest their dreams in the physical reality, the coming together of everything for the purpose of construction, of creation, and manifestation, right? This is that energy of the one who seeks to build the tower, to build this foundation and to build on top of it, to transform the world and call down the stars, to build that Temple of Babylon. Where's this going? Interesting. So what I'm seeing here is that this Knight of Discs is pursuing this foundational power. It's trying to move towards this and connect to it. It's trying to manifest this in their life. But there is strife, there is conflict. You know, what we see here with the Five of Wands is that we're moving beyond that stability of the Four, that balance of the Four, and we are trying to manifest our will, and we are coming up against conflict. Now, it's not necessary that this conflict is bad, but there is resistance. There's transformation. There is engagement needed. In order to manifest this will, we have to push through this. We have to continue on that path and have the strength to persevere. Interesting. And it's also recognizing here that in the center, right, the center wand is that caduceus, right, is the twin pillars, is that Hermaic energy, right, the coming together of the forces, a balancing out. The antidote to the strife is walking the middle path, right, combining multiple perspectives and reasoning out a way forward. Whenever Hermes is present, the answer is always reason, right? Let us continue. Completion energy. This is beautiful. To show up at the top of our square, connected to that power. This is about us manifesting that foundation, building the temple of the muses, connecting and manifesting that family, that job, that business, that thing that we are needing to build upon. Those four pillars that make up the core of who we are. Beautiful. Oop, let's see where this is going. Wow. Wealth, abundance, joy, Plutus, right? Plutus energy, the completion of the manifestation upon earth, right? The building and making of this tower, where the 4 is the beginning, the 10 is the end. It's completed, right? The 4 is when you first are laying the foundations, when all of the pieces have come together to begin that true manifestation. The 10 is the final product, the completion. Beautiful energy to have here. And to have it with that completion energy is that connecting and bringing about this power, this foundational base, right? It's going to bring this completion, right? This energy of this Knight of Discs is building and manifesting that tower, and they're engaged in it. This is fated energy. This is meant to come. We just have to work towards it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Wow. Yeah. This is wow. Not only do we have the 10 of wealth, discs, and its most beautiful and rewarding, the completion of the tower, but we now have our cups in their most balanced, in their most rewarding, where pleasure is unfolding, where love and abundance. Look, the 6 of Cups is all about that deep connection, where everyone is giving, receiving, an equal loving flow. This is the ideal, the middle path, perfected loving harmony. Wow. And we see that connected to that power and to that completion. Amazing. Manifesting this tower, this foundation, the temple of the muses. This is the key. This is the key. If you really want to build that wealth, that joy, that Plutus, that abundance in your life, right? This is not simply material growth, material wealth. This is security, family, children, relationships, lovers, family, everything coming together in perfect balance. Amazing energy. Let's see. Wow. Dionysus has appeared. Love to see it. And he's connected to that tower into completion. How do we manifest this foundation? How do we build the temple of the muses? Stop overthinking. That was the message of the Sortes. Take the leap. Throw yourself into it. Move and go. Pursue love, right? Pursue generation. Dionysus leaps into creation. He's the dying and rising god. He goes through the cycles, through the hoops, through the transformations, again and again and again, ever in that pursuit of love and adoration, ever in pursuit of Aphrodite, right? Beautiful. Wow. We have the 6, and now we have the 10 of cups. Not only do we have that manifestation of that pleasure, but then we have the complete satisfaction and satiety, where our love is ever expanding and outflowing, where we can give in charity, where we can share in community, where it is expansive and world transforming. Again, we are completing the tower, now in that emotional abundance. And it comes from this taking of the leap and learning to move. Beautiful. See what the final card? Queen of Discs. Queen of Discs. A match made in heaven. The Queen of Discs and the Knight of Discs. Who are more capable of building the tower, of transforming reality than the 2 earth signs? The 2 lovers in Capricorn, right? Having this energy here, right? This is that energy. If the Knight of Discs is the one who goes out to build the tower, right? To manifest that will, who's that outgoing force. The Queen is the one who ensures the integrity, ensures that everyone works in harmony and manifests that plan, right? She makes sure that that foundation is perfect on each level and helps the Knight to realize. She is the one behind the scenes who does that hard, laborious organizing, that without which the temple would just collapse. The tower would never manifest. The Knight is too reckless to build it on his own without her, right? But she can't manifest it on her own without him. She doesn't have the wherewithal to go out in the world, to change and to fight, right? It's when these energies come together that they manifest that tower, that they bring that wealth. And here we see the key to connecting with this Queen is learning to take that leap, to embrace the satisfaction and the love, right? What does this Queen represent? Not only the manifestation of this tower, but the completion of this romantic loving cycle. This is a person who will fulfill you in ways you can't even imagine. Total completion. That's such beautiful energy. Wow. All right, we now have our square completely unfolded. Let's take a deeper dive. But before we do, please give me a like and a subscribe. It really does make a big difference. And it's a beautiful little blessing and good karma. And if you're at all interested in a private reading, send me an email, snappyddts@gmail.com. You can find everything in the description, or you can message me on Myth and Lore Discord. I'm always on. All right, let's take a look here. Here is our full unfolded square. Beautiful. Let's start here. If you want to build this tower, if you want to have loving fulfillment in your life, security, wealth, family, joy, abundance, you have to embody that disciplined energy of the Knight of Discs, the one who moves and pursues their dreams, who changes their reality, and is willing to do the hard work, and is willing to face fear, to move in the world, right? If you can do that, you can build these towers. So incredible. Now let's go here. The foundation, the key to all of this. You cannot manifest this without this foundation. And the key to this foundation is taking that leap, pursuing love, pursuing this connection, pursuing this newness. You know what you need to do. You know where you need to be. You know where you need to go. You have to get there. And if you can take that leap, the cycle comes to completion. You'll manifest that foundation, that temple of the muses, those true connections that will form your family block, that will form your foundation, that will be this growing tree that will everything will rest upon. It's such beautiful energy. It's just about embracing the flow and taking the leap and not overthinking. Beautiful. All right. The conflict, the strife, right, that we see here with this pleasure and with this pursuit of the Queen of Discs. All right. This is about learning to keep things into this flowing balance, right? If you want to manifest this pleasure and this love in your life, if you really want to move into this and connect to this energy, you have to overcome this mental strife, this conflict. You have to recognize that there's an issue here where things are out of balance and things are not flowing. You know, why is there this strife? You know, we want to push this 5 into the 6, and the 6 is that victory, right? We need to pursue this with more passion, with more power, with more love. What I'm seeing here is the fundamental energy is not trying hard enough, receiving resistance, and then just staying, not continuing to fight. If you can light that spark under yourself, if you can be inspired, you will get the victory, and the victory will bring the pleasure and the queen. Right now, that resistance you're feeling is because you're not trying hard enough. You're not throwing your love into this with enough passion. Interesting. Okay. Let us now do our cross. If you can connect to this queen, not only will you manifest this power, but you will build it and complete it. The wealth will come in, the security will come in, everything will come in. Joy and abundance. Beautiful. Just profound energy. And again, this foundation will allow you to manifest the pleasure and the sati, to complete this cycle of love, to be overwhelmed with joy and abundance in relations and fulfillment. Just completely beautiful energy. The key to all of this is learning to embrace this full energy, to throw yourself into it, to be inspired, to pursue love with passion, to change this 5 into the 6 of victory, and to seek out that pleasure, that Queen of Wands, to embody this Knight of Discs, and to pursue these things, to do that hard work. Light the fires under your butt. Pursue this manifestation. Take that leap. Chase after that queen, and you will manifest your tower. You will bring in the love. You will bring in the pleasure. It's all coming to completion. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Wow. I hope that resonated with you all. It certainly resonated with me. Amazing. All right, we're going to do one final message. Let's go back to Narcissus and Goldman. All right, muses, what is the final inspiring message for this evening? How does our audience best move and flow? What should they take away from tonight's tarot reading? And so he concluded violently, "What is this world in which we are made to live? Is it not hell? Is it not revolting and disgusting?" This is something that Ammon says constantly. What is this world in which we are made to live? Is it not hell? Are we not that great divine maiden, the Kori herself, who's been tricked into creation? Are we not Dionysus, who fell for the Strophalon, who chased after the spinning disc and was dethroned? Do we not need to wake up to our divine nature, to recognize this world as a limiting, as ridiculous, and to see with eyes to see and hear with ears to hear? Wow. Confront the suffering, confront the transformation, move and flow, and transform this hell into a heaven on earth. You know, when we look at that tarot, there is incredible energy here. Take that leap, my friends. Embrace love. All right. I hope to see you again tomorrow. Have a beautiful evening. Take care, everyone.